Prior to the partition of India, the British Indian Army had fought in World War II without the slightest suggestion of a communal divide. And then, in keeping with their signature divide and rule stratagem, came the announcement from the outgoing British that following the partition, all 2 million plus soldiers of the Indian Army would need to take a decision on a very communal basis: India or Pakistan. They'd have to choose a side that they would like to serve on. The Hindu, Sikh and Christian soldiers were not the focal point of this conundrum. It was directed by the British at the Muslims in the army, all born in a united India that was now following their devious agenda to be divided on these communal grounds. Sahibzada Yaqub Khan was a 26-year-old major assigned to the Viceroy's bodyguards. He too had to hand over his decision, but there was none forthcoming. In the quest for an answer, he decided to visit his hometown, the princely state of Rampur, where his father, a prominent statesman, had served as the Prime Minister. Walking through the corridors of his childhood home, memories flooded his mind. That of stately banquets, shikars and the feasts that followed, a retinue of staff serving the deluge of guests during the celebrations of Eid and Diwali. Then he happened upon his room, where he'd spent the days of his youth. Sitting on his bed, he looked at all those shelves lined with all his polo trophies, his cricket pads leaning against his desk, and all those photos from all those years lining the wall. He rose from his bed and proceeded to his mother's room. He had made a decision. He was going to choose Pakistan. "You've lived your life on me. Mine lies ahead of me. I do not believe that there's a future for Muslims in India following this partition. Come with me to Pakistan." In Urdu, his mother replied, "Your forefathers fought the British for this land, son, and were executed here for their actions. This is where our home has been and shall remain. I don't understand politics, but as a mother, my desires are selfish. Your decision will separate us. Don't leave, son." The next morning, Sahibzada Yaqub Khan packed a small suitcase into the family car. He bid his mother goodbye, telling her that once he'd settled into Karachi, he would be back soon, to see her as also pick up all his cherished polo trophies. But that wouldn't come to be. He wouldn't see his family home ever again. He wouldn't see his beloved mother ever again. In barely a few months following, he'd be commanding a Pakistani army battalion, leading his men over a snow-capped mountain range in Kashmir during the Indo-Pakistani War of 1947-48. They made strong progress in this theatre, but after a certain point were held back by an Indian regiment, by the officers of the Indian Army's Garhwal Rifles. The Garhwal Rifles regiment too was commanded by a Muslim officer. At the time of the partition, he too had to take a decision: India or Pakistan. He chose the land of his birth because he knew that he was an Indian by birth and by heart. This Indian officer's name too was Khan. He too was from Rampur. He was Sahibzada Yaqub Khan's elder brother, Sahibzada Yunus Khan. And this war had brothers fighting each other.